going to bring up a situation. So we stay away from people. But can I divinely tell you by the Spirit, this is the year you need to connect to people. This is the year that you need to connect to people. You need to be around people because people brings wealth. People brings resources. Resources moves you to the next level. If you don't believe people bring resources, ask Saks, Fifth Avenue, or Neiman Marcus. Ask Mercedes-Benz. Ask the Jaguar dealer. Ask the Rolls-Royce dealer. People bring resources. The reason you don't have no resources is because you ain't solving no problems. Resources also come to people that know how to solve problems. Look at your neighbor and say, I need to become a problem solver. Listen to what Paul said. Verse chapter 2. Then 14 years after I went up again to Jerusalem with Barnabas and took Titus with me. And I went up by revelation and communicated. Now he said he went up by revelation. You know what that means? He went up by the Spirit. That means that he just didn't get up in the morning and say, you know, I'm going over here. But something in the realm of the Spirit, he began to see outside of himself. Watch this. It says, unto them the gospel which I preached among the Gentiles, and privately to them which were of reputation, lest by any means I should have ran or had run in vain. But neither Titus, who was with me, being a Greek, was compelled to be circumcised. So one of the things that you got to understand is that the revelation of God will come under that apostolic anointing. Watch this. How come there's no revelation of Christ under the prophetic anointing? The only revelation that you see of Christ in the Old Testament or under the prophetic anointing was that he was going to, it was prophesied he was coming. It wasn't until the apostolic anointing, the apostles' anointing came, that you got the whole book. In other words, when the apostolic anointing came and the apostles came, you got the whole revelation of what Jesus was saying. Watch this. Turn to John chapter 15. John chapter 15. Verse 1. Read.
I am the true vine, and my Father is the vine dresser. Every branch in me that does not bear fruit, he takes away.
See, when you are around, you know why people, listen, don't take this personal, but you know why people get divorced? Because one of the couples ain't bearing no fruit. Somebody ain't bearing no fruit. You know why single people can't stay together? Because one of those couples is not bearing no fruit. You know why people fire you from your job? Because you ain't bearing no fruit. It says, every branch in me, he taketh away. So that means if there's a couple and there's a split trying to come, that means that you have to look at the fruit on both sides. We got to look at our fruit. Prophets and I, we be up late. Okay, what did we accomplish this year? You got to know how to talk. Come here, woman of God. Get your mic. You don't feel good? Put your on. Father sitting over there all comfortable. Ain't time to be comfortable. I need that anointing in my life. Get your mic, prophets. Share with me. I want to share about bearing fruit, being together as a couple.
Well, one thing for and then when couples are one, then you see the unity, and the unity, when there's union, because there's unity, there's union, and when there's union, you can't help but bear fruit. because there's a union, there's a flow. You become sensitive to each other. You become sensitive to each other's anointing. You become sensitive to each other's mindset. Just because individuals are around each other a long time doesn't, that's one way to become sensitive about someone, but when you can go into the realm of the spirit, that allows you the insight about that mate or about that other individual more so than just being around them for years. Because the spirit can take you places faster than just walking through in the natural realm of the individual. You know what I'm saying? So when there's unity and oneness in one mindset, then you'll be able to see the flow. You'll be able to see more fruit. When they're opposite and you're not bearing fruit, this is why there's like a tug of war between individuals. When you guys become on different pages, you start speaking differently. That's why, I'll be honest, it's kind of hard when you have couples that fellowship at different churches. Because when you have couples that fellowship at different churches, then you're splitting yourself and you're saying that's two different anointings or two different voices, and you're trying to bring two different voices back into that same house. There's no unity there because you're not being fed the same thing or you're not being fed at the same time. So you're hearing Japanese and they're hearing Spanish, and those two languages don't mix. So there's no unity there. So then that will bring a discord, because you don't have a common union there. There's nothing in common with that mate. So it's really hard, and you find a lot of times in couples, they can't come together in where they should fellowship, but it's crucial that you do, because it will cause, in the long run, if you continue like that, it will cause a form of separation, because there's no unity there. So you have to be able to be up under the same anointing. Because see, one thing is different when you're under a house. There's a covering that's a form of an anointing where you have to. I couldn't go to another church that my husband is not going to and have another man cover me. Because that will make me out of order. I would be out of order. And if my husband, even though he's my head, and he's attending another church, and I'm not comfortable where he's going, I'm not comfortable. When we first met, he was attending the church, and I went to that church, and I couldn't receive from that church. It sounded like the man was, talking underwater. There was no clarity. There was no understanding there for me. I couldn't receive that. So I just, then I wasn't as much wisdom as I may be now. But then I was like, look, it's going to be me or the church. But now, I know how to pray. I would know how to pray and intercede because one thing about it, I don't care what forces is coming against your mate. If you have a prayer life and an intercession life, believe me, you can turn the heavens in their mind. You can turn the heavens in their mind. You just have to know the power that resides in you. You can't get caught up by the emotion of a thing. You have to know the power that resides in you to bring that unity. So in this season, the enemy will come to try to bring things, to bring separations between couples. Because if he can bring separation, then he can bring discord. If he can bring discord, then that will bring a form of division that will divide your house. And if the house is divided, then eventually it's going to definitely fall. And so if he can uproot that family, then literally he's succeeded in what he needs to do, because then that's a force of unity that can't come against him. And the whole purpose is to break down and to bring division in where you can't come against him, fighting him. So,
and when you hear prophets talking, say up here, prophet. A lot of times what you got to understand, let's answer a question. How do you deal with me now compared to how you dealt with me 10 years